What if Aunt Marge never came to visit in Prisoner of Azkaban? What's good, Potterheads? Welcome back to the Half-Played YouTuber channel, where today I'm gonna answer just that, in a brand new Harry Potter speculation video about what would have happened if Aunt Marge never came to visit in POA. Wow, that was super self-explanatory. If you aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so because I'm trying to build a community of loyal, passionate Potterheads here, and it'd be a right old shame if you weren't part of it. But enough introduction, cause it's time to be extraordinary. Right at the source of this butterfly effect, I believe Uncle Vernon will actually sign Harry's Hogsmeade permission slip, which is gonna blow the POA we know and love right off its tracks. I believe this is because Uncle Vernon has no logical reason not to in this situation. You see, over the years, Mr. Dursley has built up a very stringent idea of what is and isn't logical, and I bet you can guess where magic lands on that spectrum.
There's no such thing as magic.
Since he is forced to house Harry, a living reminder that nothing makes sense anymore, Vernon must smother all peculiarities to protect what little normalcy remains in his life. This includes anything from letting Hedwig out at night in case he writes letters to his freaky friends, to locking Harry in his cupboard when his son falls through glass that he swears was just there a second ago, to burning letters, ripping letters, and wrestling Harry for a single letter surrounded by hundreds of other letters, which ironically makes about as much sense as those letters being there in the first place. Case in point, Harry says the letter specifically is for school and therefore does not affect Vernon, who grudgingly obliges. Since Aunt Marge's big mistake never happened, I also think Harry would have been stuck at the Dursleys until September 1st, when the Hogwarts school year began. This means Harry doesn't discover the night bus until OOTP, meaning we don't get our first little lesson about Sirius Black.
Don't tell me you've never been hearing of Sirius Black. He's a murderer.
Plus, since Harry doesn't go to the Leaky Cauldron, he doesn't overhear Molly and Arthur debating whether they should tell him Black wants to kill him. Okay, so now we go to King's Cross Station, ride the Hogwarts Express, meet Professor Lupin. We already know what happens here. Let's skip to not the first Hogsmeade trip, but the second one. The one when Harry decided to stop moping around up in Gryffindor Tower and try and sneak into Hogsmeade. We all know that Fred and George give Harry the Marauders map so he can sneak in easier, but Harry's allowed to go now, so this never happens. But I shouldn't really say never, should I? Because this is a daughter aka parallel universe now, and we don't know what other events drastically changed because Aunt Marge never visited her sweet little nephew pill. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. The pig disguised as a human. Some of the key points that no longer happen. Harry doesn't hear the falsities about Sirius Black that somehow literally everybody believes. Harry doesn't see Peter Pettigrew on the Marauders map, obviously, because he doesn't have it. Pretty much all of the POA chapters Snape's Grudge doesn't happen. For more details, read Snape's Grudge in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And into the next book, Harry doesn't see Barty Crouch Jr. rummaging around in Snape's potion closet. At this point, I want to talk about something that I personally think is super cool. Over the years, Harry Potter grew as an individual, and he grew a lot. You're probably thinking, yeah, no dip, Sherlock, it's such an obvious statement, but I'm saying this because of the extraordinary amount of self-growth the boy who lived accomplished at the young age of just 13. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban marks the point at which our brave protagonist slowly becomes more and more like his father, while simultaneously increasingly becoming his own person, and the poetry and the spark to this transformation is truly beautiful. Harry obtained the invisibility cloak from an unknown gifter during Christmas 1991, and he shortly began using it for secret nighttime trips throughout the castle, much like his father. In 1993, Harry received the Marauders map from Fred and George, another of his father's old possessions, which gave him the fullest view of Hogwarts the school had ever seen, which he promptly used to break more school rules. Moreover, throughout the series, Snape gave Harry relentless hatred and prejudice for the mere fact he was reminiscent of his father. Together, Dumbledore and the Invisibility Cloak, Fred and George and the Marauders map, and Snape and his hatred and bias essentially created the second half of who Harry Potter is today, Harry James Potter. Since I'm not really sure how to end off this section of the video, I'll just say this. Respect and love your aunts for the mere possibility of the parallel universes they are capable of creating, and more importantly, the multitude of actual reasons you have for doing so. Also, don't try to predict the future or the type of person someone will be before their personal growth begins, cause you plainly just can't, and cause as it says right there in the name, it's not for you to decide. And I am truly sorry for any and all horrible birth control. And that's it for the video. If you enjoyed this video, please demolish the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because in all seriousness, it really does help out the channel. As I said earlier, make sure to follow me on Instagram at the Half-Blood YouTuber for YouTube updates, fun Harry Potter posts, and so on and so on. Are there parts of this video you disagree with? Do you just agree with all of it? Do you think it's crazy how one little thing can change an entire book? Let me know all of your thoughts on this video along with the 3 C's, comments, constructive criticism, and conversation, in the Patronus section down below. As always, make sure to subscribe if you aren't already for instant access to more totally tubular Harry Potter content, and remember to ring the notification bell to be notified when new content gets uploaded. But that's all for now, so stay extraordinary, you loyal Potterheads. Peace.